Tesla's stock is down over 40% from its peak, and the bad news keeps on piling up. A $1.4 billion fraud investigation in Canada, collapsing sales in Europe, and growing concerns over Elon Musk's leadership, splitting his focus between Tesla, X, and now the Department of Government Efficiency, the DOGE. Meanwhile, vandalism against Teslas is rising, and Waymo's CEO says Tesla can't compete in autonomous driving. And to top things off, BYD has just exceeded Tesla sales. Is this just noise, or is Tesla in real trouble? Let's dive in. There's a lot going on with Tesla right now. A stock which was just over $450 recently is now trading at $277 in such a short time. There's a lot that's happened, and let's start talking about some of the issues going on. Let's start with last week's news. Tesla accounting raises red flags as a report shows $1.4 billion is missing. When we compare Tesla's capital expenditure in the last 6 months, it seems as though $1.4 billion has been gone. And this is shown in the graph by Financial Times. It's hard to tell exactly why this is, but there's lots of theories online. But an accounting error like this, or whatever it may be, is something that grabs the attention of any investor, because $1.4 billion is a big amount and it shouldn't be ignored. Investors want answers to this. Reading some of the comments on this article, one of the members have been paying attention to the capex number of Tesla for a long time, and it just seems as though what they are paying in capex is just not what they're producing. And I agree with this comment. There's also talk about the number of sales Tesla has made on the last days of the Canadian EV incentive. This incentive is where Canada offer a $5,000 discount on any electric vehicles that have been bought. On the last weekend of this, it seems as though a single dealership in Quebec has delivered 4,000 vehicles in a single weekend, which is physically impossible. So there's been talk about further investigation going on in this situation. It seems as though there's something going on behind the scenes over here. Then on top of this, we've got other issues such as Elon Musk being part of the Department of Government Efficiency, the DOGE, where he's working to try and make the government more efficient in terms of the money that they are spending and the money that they are getting. The question is, with so much political influence with Donald Trump, how much time is he trying to spend trying to improve his business and making things better in Tesla? Because at the moment Tesla is not in a good place. In recent talks he saluted the crowd with what was known as the Hitler salute, and it brought everyone to surprise because people at the time thought Elon Musk was not a racist person, etc. And people are now just outright hating Elon Musk because of this, although Elon Musk has been racist openly and fascist on X since years, as far as I know. The consequence of Elon Musk doing something like this has basically decreased the number of sales and the sentiment of Tesla in some of these European countries. For example, Germany, over 94% of people that have been surveyed have said they'd never buy Elon Musk electric vehicles, so they'd never buy a Tesla in their life. Further to that, the numbers speak for itself. The deliveries for Tesla is down 43% in Europe, whilst electric vehicles are up 30%. An example being Hyundai has increased their sales by 40%, whereas Elon Musk Tesla is down 40%. So is there a shift in Europe going on that we should be aware of at the moment? That's another question we gotta ask. And because of Elon Musk and his political and far-right mentality, there's been a lot of vandalism going on with Teslas. Teslas have been attacked worldwide. There's been more vandalisms. And there's just so much going on at the moment. There's a lot of Teslas being damaged. Every time I go on to X, I see there's a video of a Tesla being damaged. And then the question then becomes is, would a customer, knowing that this is how people see Tesla and they see how much Tesla cars are being vandalized, would they then be comfortable buying a Tesla? Because if I'm spending tens of thousands of pounds on a new car and I know that this car is very likely to be vandalized, then I wouldn't touch it, I wouldn't buy it. I'd look for an alternative, and there are plenty of alternatives at the moment. So this is a question that you ask yourself as a consumer, and at the moment Tesla is not in a good state in this situation. To rub salt into the wound, BYD have just reported today that they overtaken Tesla in sales, and it's a Chinese car company. They've topped $100 billion in revenue for the first time. And further to that, ex-Waymo CEO has said that Tesla is still not a competitor to Waymo. He said that Tesla is just an electric vehicle maker with a really good driver assistance system. He further says Tesla has tried to compete with Waymo for nearly 10 years, but they still don't. They haven't delivered a single fully autonomous revenue generating ride yet. This is something that is very painful to hear for Tesla investors, because this autonomous vehicles is one thing that Tesla investors really talk about and really hope for, saying that it's going to be something big. It's been 9 years but they've not done a single autonomous revenue generating ride yet, and Waymo is already doing 1 million every month. Okay, enough with the negativity, let's talk about some of the numbers with Tesla. And in order to do that, I'm going to start with looking at all of the different revenue streams that they've got. They've got 4 main sectors to their business. So you've got the auto side of things. So this is the things like car, trucks, semis. You've got the services, you've got the seats, etc. You've got the hardware and the software side of things. So the FSD, the autopilot, the vision tech, the robotaxi, which is still developing. You've also got the energy side of things. So you've got the chargers, you've got the solar, you've got the battery, and there's a lot of things going on here as well. And all of these, they're very small revenue drivers for Tesla, but there's hope that in the future this will become a big thing. And then you've got other things which are listed over here. Looking at Tesla's page on FinChat, you can see over the last 3 years their CAGR is 22%. So they've grown their revenue by 22% every year for the last 3 years. So it's really good to see. Over the last 10 years the CAGR is 40%, the last 5 years is 31%, which is really good. Their 2-year forward revenue is expected to be 16% CAGR. The PE ratio is 121, which is quite high for a car company. If we go straight into the numbers, these are the total number of cars delivered, and every year this has been increasing every single year. It's just in the last year it has decreased. Based on all of the news around Tesla at the moment, will the next print be higher or will it be lower? Unfortunately, I think it's going to be lower, and this is going to affect Tesla's share price quite heavily. Aside from the delivery side of things, this is a chart of the free cash flow per share for Tesla and the EBITDA margins. And pre-pandemic, things were negative for Tesla, and it started becoming profitable in 2019, where the numbers started to look really good. The EBITDA margins peaked at 21%, the free cash flow per share was at the highest over here, but since then it's been going down. And again, the question is what's going to happen after this? And the net profit margins has also started to decrease in the last year as well. So the last year, 2024, it's not been good for Tesla, and markets are forward looking, and it's got a PE of 121, so we need to look forward and see what's happening. And in doing so, we'll go to the estimates over here. We'll start with the revenue first of all. So by the end of 2025, we're saying that the revenue is going to increase 10%, and then the next year is going to increase 20%. Tesla, trading at a PE of 121, is predicted to grow their revenues by 10% this year and 20% next year. So to me, it seems expensive, but we need to see how that is compared to where it has been in the past, and we'll look at that soon. When we look at the earnings per share, by the end of 2025, so end of this year, we're talking a 7% increase, and then next year, we're talking a 35% increase. And I'm a bit skeptical about this based on the news that we're getting, but only time will tell. If we look at Tesla's PE ratio, and if I make this more recent so we could see more, let's see what this shows. So since 2022, Tesla's trading at quite a high PE, and if I add an average to this, Tesla's trading way higher than the average. The average PE that Tesla since 2022 is about 86, and right now we're trading at a PE of 136. If we look at the last 5 years, so since 2021, then we are trading below the average. The question then becomes, what do we feel is reasonable for this company? If you watched my last video, I put Tesla in the avoid section of the video, and the reason being is because it was very expensive on every metric that I looked at compared to the other Magnificent 7 stocks. And for that reason, I still stand by that, and I do feel that Tesla is trading at way higher than where it should be, even despite the drop that it's had. Just to put it in perspective, let me full screen this. The current drawdown that Tesla had, the peak was about 53% drawdown it had. The lowest drawdown it's ever had was 73%. And I do feel that Tesla, there's still some downside in it. There's a lot of negative sentiment, and you could argue that when people are fearful, then that's the best time to buy. And I agree with that. However, with Tesla, there's actually some issues fundamentally. There's a lot of problems with Elon Musk, and if I'm thinking as a consumer, I'd be scared to buy a Tesla at the moment because I'd be scared someone vandalizes it. And these are just my opinions, and it'd be nice to hear what you think. Would you invest in Tesla stock? And that's not to say that Tesla won't do good as a stock, and I do feel that as a very long-term hold, Tesla will do good because there's a lot of things lined up. But the question is, can they deliver? Can they win the investor trust back? The price that Tesla is currently trading at right now, it was trading at that in 2021. So Tesla's not really gone anywhere in the last 4 years. However, it has been quite volatile, so it's a really good stock to swing trade, and that's the only reason I'd be interested in Tesla at the moment, if I'm honest, just a swing trade rather than a long-term hold. There's a lot going on for Tesla, and things have to change for me to consider buying Tesla. Just as an example, from its recent low, Tesla's already up 30%. So it's a swing trader's dream, this sort of stock. I don't see Tesla as a long hold, and if I buy it, it is a swing trade. If you want to give your opinions, please comment below, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe.